Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the Saints and Alumni Show right here on 88.3 The Saint. I'm your host this week, Joe Formusa from the class of 2012. Today, we have Heather Ford from the class of 89 and Bill Leah from the class of 90. They're telling us about a really cool event happening tomorrow right here on Siena College's campus, like the Night Walk, to benefit the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We're going to talk to them about that. We're going to talk to them about their Siena experience and what it means to be a Saint and why giving back through an event like this means so much to them and the community as a whole. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on 88.3 The Saint. Welcome back to the Saints and Alumni Show right here on 88.3 The Saint. I'm your host this week, Joe Formusa from the class of 2012. You hear this every week, but we're going to say it again. If you have a podcast app or you listen to podcasts, you stream podcasts, you listen to podcasts over the web, you can find us there. Download Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Search for the Saints and Alumni Show. You will find this show and all our past shows for the past, probably year and a half right there for you to listen to on demand. You'll listen to some great stories from some great alumni. We are also streaming, as always, on the iHeartRadio app. So if you're not near a standard radio, but you still have a phone, you still have a smart speaker, just go to the iHeartRadio app and ask Alexa, Google, search for it, 88.3. We are right there. We are always on the iHeartRadio app. Really cool show today to share with you guys today. Today we have Heather Ford from the class of 89 and Bill Leah from the class of 90. They are both board members of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they're here to tell us about a really cool event happening right here on Siena's campus tomorrow, October 15th. Welcome to you both. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were talking as you guys came in a little bit about what you both do when it comes to Light the Night, other events you guys are involved in. We also talked a little bit about what it's like to be back on campus. So we start every show, especially with our alumni. We just dip in a little bit about what it's like being back and what Siena means to you. So, Bill, we'll start with you. How does it feel to be back here? And tell us a little bit about your time here and what it meant to you in your career.
So I was a commuter here at Siena back in 1986 when I came in, and great experience. As a commuter, I always wondered, did I miss something? And now that I've got 4 grown kids, 3 of them that have either been in college or out of college, I often wonder, should I have lived on campus? But frankly, great time, great experience, met some great people. Heather and I connected here at Siena, but most importantly, the education and the connections and the people, still very strong today. Came back the other day, actually, with the Hall of Fame dinner they had for the Business Center.
Yes.
Got to catch up with some of my friends from the Stack Center, so it was great.
And what Bill is talking about, we've talked about on the show, the Madelone Wall of Success. Yes. Some great Siena businesses. Siena alumni-owned, operated businesses are on that wall. If you come to campus and you get a chance to check out the Stack Center, look up. It's right when you walk in. Heather, tell us about your Siena time here and how it's like to be back.
Sure. What a wonderful 4 years. I think we talk about the education being exemplary, and I think Siena was just named one of the best colleges in the country. That absolutely boded well for us back then. I look back at those 4 years, and the Franciscan way is a real thing. It still is. Post Siena College, I sat on the advisory board for several years and tried to give back from that perspective. But I think that feeling of being a student here and knowing that we were cared for, all the things that we went through with the great things of basketball and go to the NCAAs and all of those wonderful memories. But it's the friendships. And obviously from a business perspective, we have great connections. So all around, it was just an incredible experience.
One last quick question for both of you about Siena, because it's something I always like to get out of alumni who come on the show and just in general. Let's say you're talking to someone who's 16, 17 years old. They're looking at colleges. They're like, should I come to Siena? Should I go to another college, perhaps a competing college? Heather, we'll start with you. What kind of advice would you give to them if they're considering coming here?
Normally, the student, it's simpler, but I think for the parents who are the ones that are worried about their child going away for 4 years, I come from the family aspect of it is a family here. The tradition's there, but I think if you're looking for a safe place, a wonderful education, and just great camaraderie within the student body, and also, with a Franciscan position, I think that's the part that, all encompassing, your kids are just in a great place all the way around.
And Bill, how about you?
Yeah, I think just the experience. I think Sienna's that college that it's small enough to where you get that really one-on-one personal experience with your professors and really with your fellow students. You really get to connect with a lot of the people on campus, and it's big enough to where you still get kind of that true real college experience with D1 sports and everything that goes with that. So I just think size, location, Sienna, it offers, I think, a lot in both those respects.
We sound a little bit like a broken record on this show, but everyone tells us pretty much the same values, education, similar stories. That's why I have people give me their answers, because if you go on the podcast and you listen to all of them back, everyone's sharing the same experiences. And that's why we all part of a larger community. And you both mentioned you both connected when you were both here, and here you are now talking about a great event that's happening tomorrow. But Bill, we're going to jump to you real quick. This is pre-recorded, as most of our shows are. So, Bill, you're right now, if you're listening to this show, it's probably, 4:35, 4:36 on a Friday afternoon. We're not actually here in studio. Bill, where are you right now?
Well, right now I am at Leah Toyota, 2116 Central Avenue, for a really cool event we're doing where the folks from the athletic departments at Siena and UAlbany have come together. The basketball program, the coaches from both schools have really been working hard to try and work together on a number of different fronts in the community to do better, to do good. And so we're doing a dunk tank event where the athletes and other folks that are going to come and join us here are able to take a shot at dunking their coaches.
Wow. Tell us, if someone comes to Leah and wants to take part in the event, how can they go about doing that? Because again, people are listening right now. They're like, "Ooh, I want to dunk Coach Carm." I assume he's there.
Yes. Yep.
How do they go about doing that?
So they'll just come. There'll be a booth set up. They'll be able to make a donation, and it'll be just a simple, fun outdoor event in the parking lot. And make a donation and go give a throw and try and dunk the coach.
Is this a new event? I feel like I've heard about this before.
Well, we started this last year, except instead of the coaches, it was myself and my co-chair of the Late Tonight event, Rick Ostroff. And after being dunked about 20 times, and I'm 6'4", and these dunk tanks, I don't think they were made for people of my height. I opted not to go back.
Probably
in
more
the tank,
my height.
So I think the coaches they're gonna be feeling it on their knees tomorrow. The cold water wasn't so bad, but really just smacking into the thing as a taller guy. So we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna raise some money, and that's what it's all about.
Heather, have you seen one of these events before?
I have not, but I have firsthand knowledge of those that have been there in the past years, and I think Bill explains how his experience went with the duck tank. That's all I need to know.
Bill, tell us one more time, if drivers or people driving right now, where can they head to if they want to?
It's at Leah Toyota, 2116 Central Avenue.
I know exactly where that is. If you have some time on your Friday afternoon, go do it. It's a great cause. Sounds like fun. Get Carm a little soaked before a great season ahead.
And Coach from UAlbany will be there as well. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you want to ahead of the
ahead of the Albany want to go.
Yeah. Especially if you're, and I'm gonna pitch homecoming in on the next segment here. Just remind everyone, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's take a couple days back. Heather, when you came in, you were telling us about a great event that you had, a special dinner earlier this week to support LLS. Tell us a little bit about that and what happened.
Absolutely. So it was made up of 5 friends who are either current, past, or future board members for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And we wanted to support Bill and Rick Ostroff in the Light the Night efforts from a board perspective. And so we decided to have a private dinner and we raised almost $7,000 in about 2 hours' time,
Wow.
and we're really thrilled about that. So it's a lot about the mission of LLS, and it was a lot about meeting people at that dinner that have lost family members or survivors, and just to raise money and support the Light the Night Walk is something as board members we really enjoyed doing.
How did the planning about this go about? Is this something you thought about, leading up to the event, or was it kind of more impromptu?
So in years past, Bill has helped me actually with different events through Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to do private dinners, and it's really a fun way to get people together. They understand the mission, they understand what we're trying to do, and in this case, it was just four of my girlfriends who we got together, had a glass of wine, and said, "Let's do this dinner and let's get it off the ground." And we planned it 3 weeks ago, and we had it this past Wednesday night. So it's one of those things where if you put your mind to it, you can get it done, and we're just really thrilled to be able to donate that money to Light the Night.
In our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about Light the Night, but we have a couple minutes left in this segment. Bill, let me start with you. As I said, you're both board members of Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and you both have your own, specific duties as well. Bill, why are you a part of such a great organization like this, or why be a part of this?
So, my involvement started back in 2015 with another campaign called Man, Woman of the Year. It was my first introduction, and Heather actually had brought me in when she was running for Woman of the Year, which is, again, another fundraising campaign that LLS, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, that they hold each year. And when I saw what that event was about and started to learn about what the funds were used for and how the community kind of comes together to support their efforts, I just wanted to see what could I do. And then someone asked me if I think Heather may have asked me at some point a couple of years down the road if I would do the campaign. So in 2015 I ran for Man of the Year. I had some success with that. We raised a lot of money for LLS and just really got connected with a lot of the people. Got to meet some of the honored heroes, some of the the people that are affected by either lymphoma or leukemia. One girl in particular, she was our honored hero. Her name was Markel, and we learned about her story, and unfortunately, she lost her battle with cancer, and so this is those kind of connections and those kind of personal stories. This is why I stayed involved, and now I've been involved for 7 years. And currently, I'm the co-chair of the Light the Night event that's coming up on Saturday here. And the event has grown tremendously over the past few years. It was real challenging, obviously, through the years with COVID, where we had to go virtual and what have you. So we're really excited this year to be back live and in person here at Siena College. And just I stay involved because, again, the people, the community, the people that are on our committees, the volunteers, everybody really just shows up and works together to do incredible things. And we raise tons of money for research and for services that are needed by people that are dealing with these different types of blood cancers.
And don't touch that dial, anyone. Heather, right after this break, we're going to chat with you about what Leukemia and Lymphoma Society means to you. We do have to take a quick break, but again, don't go anywhere. We will be right back here on 88.3 The Saint. Welcome back to the Saints and Alumni Show right here on 88.3 The Saint. I'm your host this week, Joe Formusa. Another quick housekeeping event to tell you about. We talked about UAlbany in our last segment. Siena is playing UAlbany men's and women's basketball for the first time in a number of years, I'd say, probably since, close to when I graduated here. And it's all part of our second annual homecoming. If you're a member of the Siena College alumni, you want to be a part of this. The 10th through the 13th of November. We have a lot of great events happening. You probably got an alumni e-news newsletter in your inbox earlier this week. You want to check that out. Otherwise, go to siena.edu/homecoming. Check out all the events. We got an open bar. We got a pregame. You'll get tickets to the games. A lot of cool stuff happening. And that's in November. And we're less than a month out. Time flies here on Siena College's campus. We're here with Heather Ford from the class of 89, Bill Leah from the class of 90. we just heard from Bill in the last segment of his involvement with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Heather, we were just about to chat with you before we went to break. What does this organization mean to you?
So I got involved in 2009 when I was asked to run for, Bill spoke earlier of the Man Woman of the Year, which is now Visionaries of the Year going forward. But back then it was Man Woman of the Year, and I was asked to run as a candidate for Woman of the Year. And my passion for the organization started, my grandfather died when my mother was pregnant with me, so I never met him. And he had it was called acute leukemia back then, but he diagnosed on a Wednesday, died on a Monday. He went very quickly. So, for me, it was a passion, but also historically in those events, you have a boy and girl of the year, and they're either still within the treatments for leukemia or lymphoma, or they've been through them and they're in remission. And I took one look at those children and I said, I've got to do something. So I ran for the candidate. I actually was the first Woman of the Year. And then it just snowballed after that. I joined the board. I've been on the board for 12 years. I've done 3 team and training events, 3 half marathons, and raised money that way for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And, it's just one of those things where you fall off for a year and they ask you to come back on. And, for me, again, it comes from a family passion. But, you look at people, and once you get involved with this organization, you meet people who have lost their parents or they've lost their children. And, Bill spoke of Markel earlier. I think that was one of the hardest things we've ever been through, knowing her and knowing her family. So, it's a passion that comes from wanting to help and come up. And I think the other part of that is Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, with the research and the money that we raise for research, their research is finding cures or medicine for and treatments for other cancers. So we feel like we're giving a broad blast by raising money for research and doing things that we're doing, especially in our community.
And we talk about ways for the community to get involved. We're here on Sienna's campus. Tomorrow, Saturday, October 15th, is the Light the Night Walk here on campus. Some details for that. You can get to lightthenight.org/events/Albany to read all about it. It starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Bill, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about this event. Am I wrong? It's typically here on campus, correct?
Yeah, the walk's been here, for as many years as I can remember. I don't know.
I remember being here when I was here, so
Okay.
that's what sparked my memory there.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and it's a great event because first and foremost, it's a family friendly event. It's an inspirational event. So the walk starts out with a pretty short program where we basically talk about the organization and explain to people, why we're here, what we do, and then we introduce everybody to our honored hero. And this year's honored hero is a boy named Ali, and Ali's going to speak and tell us a little bit about his journey and his challenges. And then we talk about the different types of ways people can get involved. You can be there as a supporter, you can be there as a survivor, or you can be there to walk in memory of someone that has lost their battle with cancer. And what we do is we have everyone come in, and everyone gets a torch, or it's a lantern, and those lanterns, those different colors, they're white, red, and yellow. They represent the different ways that people are supporting. And to see everybody get together, and we usually have about 1,000 people come out, so it's a huge event. And to see everybody walk together, there's food, there's music, and it's really, as much as it's again a challenging fight, it's also a celebration because again many people are surviving and are living better lives now because of the research and the services that LLS has provided to them. So it's a fun night. The whole event takes about 2 hours, so it's not that heavy of a lift for people. That everyone's really busy, right? And again, it starts at 6 o'clock, and you can sign up online, or you can, if you don't get a chance to sign up online, I think we're going to have some opportunity to register on site as well.
Okay.
And it's a great event, so come on out.
Heather, why, even if someone doesn't have, a personal connection to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, or doesn't know someone who, may be suffering from this, why take part in this?
Bill used the word inspirational, and I think the first time I went to the walk, I was completely blown away. And I brought my daughter, who was probably about 13 at the time, and she still talks about it. I think if you come there and you see, you may not realize you know someone that's a survivor or surviving. You may not know that your neighbor lost someone. And I think the power is people put together teams for this and fundraise. And some of these people have 20, 30 people or more on their teams, and they wear T-shirts in honor of the person or in memory of the person. There are T-shirts at the walk also if you, register for the walk. But I think the power is the vision of what you're seeing and all these 1,000 people plus that are there to walk and support a family member or, their neighbor or somebody. And I think just visually, it's absolutely spectacular. You're seeing these lanterns of all different colors, and people are walking, and there's fun stuff along the way. I think one of the other, I think School of Rock does a little stage along the way, and these young kids are playing away and singing away, and it's kind of fun. And I think people just talk and walk, and there's a lot of power to what you see. So visually, it's incredible.
Heather, we'll stay with you. Tell us a little bit about, because you were telling me before we came on here, a little bit about your involvement with the walk. Tell us a little bit more specifically about your title with the Walk and Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and how you're involved with this event.
Sure. So I'm on the board of directors. I mentioned that earlier. So, as board members, we are very passionate about this event. We certainly support Bill and Rick in their efforts as co-chairs. So, we will come in force and make sure that we are there and rally around our teams as the board members. But, we also do things like the dinner we did and in support of raising money. So.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to what Heather said before about the different ways to get involved. You can walk as an individual. We have family and friends teams. We have corporate teams, and then of course we have corporate sponsors. That if I could, I just want to take a minute and give a shout out to a couple of our corporate sponsors, because really, without sponsors, and we're just right now. I gotta brag a little bit about our team. I believe right now, I think our local chapter is third in the country out of all the leukemia and lymphoma society chapters, and these are against big cities like L.A. and Dallas, and in terms of sponsorship. So our business community has came out huge in support of this event. So I want to thank Ostroff Associates, Berkshire Bank, Kivert Steel, New York Oncology and Hematology, Bolton St. John's, and M&T Bank, and my team at Leah. Thank you for all your hard work as well. So those are some of our major sponsors, and there's a number of other sponsors. Without them, this event couldn't happen.
Sponsors and supporters are what keep things like this going. We know what that means here at 88.3, and we know what that means here on campus at Siena as a whole. We have a couple minutes left. Bill, I'm going to stick with you. Heather, we'll have you jump in on this as well. You talked a little bit about it, but just to flesh it out a little more, what's the community response that you see from events like this? You have people come, you have people support. What's the vibe you get when they're there?
So for people that have been here before, it's almost like coming back home to see family, where sometimes some of the people that you see at this event, you may not see them all the time throughout the year, but they're at this event every year, those certain families and people, right? And so you reconnect with those people. But then the really cool part is when you see new people that have never been to the event, and they don't really know what to expect. They've heard about it, they may have talked to some people, but they don't really know, and they haven't kind of felt it. And you kind of see the emotion that kind of comes over people when they see some of the stories, because again, in the beginning we talk about again what we do, why we do it, and we introduce someone to tell their story. And as I said, this year Ali, he's going to tell his story, and that when that happens, you watch the faces of some of these people, and then they all realize, and it's like something clicks, they get it, and that's to me that's one of the coolest parts of the event.
Heather, would you like to add to that?
I would echo all of those comments. I just think it's put all of that on Siena's beautiful campus, and it's a wonderful night. It's 2 hours of power, passion, and beautiful setting, and you're right, that inspirational piece of getting people to understand why we're doing what we're doing. But I think your goal
Yeah. So we've set a goal of $750,000.
Okay.
Which is would be a record not only for us, but it would be one of the top amounts raised in the country for the event. It's a huge goal, and we are actually pretty close to tracking to hit that. We need a little extra push at the end, so we're hoping again everybody shows up and brings their family, brings their friends. Again, it's about the funding for research and services. That's why we do what we do, to help the families and help the people that are actually affected by the disease.
And again, that event is tomorrow, October 15th, right here on the campus of Siena College. Starts at 6 o'clock. If you need more information, lightthenight.org/events/Albany. Bill, Heather, thank you for being Saints of Siena. Thank you for being a part of an event like this. I'm so glad that Siena can be a part of an event like this. Truly shows what it means to be a Saint. So thank you to both of you for being Saints and for coming on and talking about this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Saints and Alumni Show on this Friday afternoon. I'm your host, Joe Formusa. Stay with us, 88.3. We'll be right back.